Conservatives are fuming over the president's latest move on immigration. The Department of Homeland Security issued new rules on deportation, saying being in the country illegally should not be the sole basis for being sent home. All this comes as a new caravan makes its way north, and the immigration braces for 400,000 migrants coming to the southern border. Republicans are calling the president out.
We have a border crisis. There has been over 1.5 million illegal border crossings so far under President Biden. Small towns at our southern border are overwhelmed by migrants.
March was the largest month on record for illegal crossings until April. April was the largest month until May, May until June, June until July, when 212,000 illegal migrants encounters on our border. This is a complete disaster, but it's all at the feet of Joe Biden and his administration.
Now, David, this new rule, which was like the zero tolerance when it comes to how ICE sort of deports folks, was created under the Trump administration, and it's got a lot of folks caught up. One individual in particular was a 7-year Army vet who served this country, who was deported. So some people, there's reasons for some people to say this is a good rule or it's a bad rule, but oftentimes there are people who get caught up in the melee that served this country, like this particular individual who was here, who served for 7 years and then got deported back to Mexico, and now trying to get his way back in the country after serving in our armed forces. So how do we sort of bridge the gap between yes and no, right? Because the answer is someplace probably in the middle.
Well, this directive is beyond just one individual. It includes, here it says, it argues against deporting an illegal immigrant who has committed a crime. Say if you're of a tender age or an advanced age, it goes on. If you're in this country illegally, by that very word, you've broken the law, number one. And there's great pressure now being put on the Biden administration from the far left because they actually deported some of the Haitians that came into this country. And now they're upset, you know, people camping out in front of Alejandro Mayorkas's house with anyone being deported. But let's say, okay, how about let's start caring about the fentanyl that's crossing the border. Our resources are being sucked up by hundreds of thousands of people coming into the country. And you've got, well, we talked about it yesterday, 93,000 people died from fentanyl poisonings. How about the left starts caring about the loved ones and the families and the dead because our border isn't being protected? And just one more thing on this. This will only, and Jesse, everybody can weigh in, this will only make this crisis worse when they're planning on 400,000 people hitting the border this month.
Jesse, your take?
I think you and I are going to agree on something, Richard.
Whoa.
All right?
Cameras are on?
Because you can't disagree with this. If you know that in June, the Panamanians tipped off Sleepy and said, hey, we got about 10,000 strong caravan of Haitians coming up through Panama into Central America, into your country, and they didn't do anything about it. And then in October, late September, they tell you, you know what? It's going to go to about 400,000 strong caravan coming up. Now, we're a sophisticated country, Richard. We have satellite technology. We have station chiefs all over that region. We have diplomats. How long do you think it takes to get from Colombia all the way to the Rio Grande? Probably a couple months, right?
5 months.
So you're seeing it happen in real time. So Joe has what? Maybe several months warning? You got 400,000 migrants? Okay. Do you think Joe Biden could do anything at all, Richard, to stop or even slow down 400,000 migrants coming from South America to North America? Do you think he has anything, you know, in his tool chest to figure that out?
No, actually.
Okay, so you agree. You agree. Now, my next question, do you think he will do anything about that?
I think he should.
You think he should? I think he should, but I don't think he will. And that's why the president is in over his head.
So will you yield for a question?
Because he will not do anything about this.
So will you yield for a question? So I will give you that. Will you then say that we have 11 million folks in this country living in the shadows?
Probably 20 million. They've been using 11 million since I was in diapers.
Fair enough. Should we do something about them, or should we just deport all of them?
No, I'd take out the criminals best I could. You know, the hardcore ones.
And then what should we do?
It's very difficult to get the ones that haven't committed a crime. Very difficult. But I'd get everybody else out.
And then what should we do?
I'd deport them.
All 11 million, or just the criminals?
I'd get all the nasty ones out.
And then
I'd get them out fast.
What should we do with the other ones?
Wait, what do you mean just the criminals?
What should I do with the other ones? I don't think I'd put them on a pathway.
Okay.
I don't think I would.
I actually agree that I think citizenship is sacred, but I don't think we have proper legal means to deal with people here who are working hard, paying taxes, and raising families. And as for the people who've made their way from Colombia through Panama, there's a 65-mile stretch called the Darien Gap, which is so incredibly treacherous, and they all have to go through it. There are Black Panthers. There are pit vipers. There are scorpions. There are massive swaths of jungle. So if people are literally going to put themselves in death's clutches to get to the United States, they're probably going to be some pretty badass people. So we need to have better means of figuring out good people from bad people. The federal government, to your point at the top of the show, has been really, really bad at doing that. Every administration, Republican, Democrat, they don't want to deal with immigration. Congress doesn't want to deal with immigration. They don't want to figure out the laws that are stupid and redundant from the ones that might be helpful, getting people in who want to work hard and make this country better. I'm sure we all have people in our family who came here from a different place with a big fat dream. I still think there are a lot of people like that, but I think the government has failed them utterly every step of the way, especially this administration, and shame on them for not actually doing something about it when they have the majority in Congress as well.
Dan, your turn.
This is only one of those conversations that happens amongst liberals who are generally like clueless, nonsensical dopes a lot. Like, this is a serious conversation on, not a present company soon, but this is, of course, a conversation on the left. Like, should being in the country illegally be the only reason we deport people for being in the country illegally? You're like, let's change the topic for a minute to make this make sense to liberals, because they're generally dunces. Should we arrest people for crack, and the only reason being we arrest them for crack because they smoke crack? And you're like, this is a crime. Do you understand? Like, you want to deport people for illegal immigration, and you're wondering if that's the only reason to deport them? Are you again like, am I crazy?
We go into other countries. You can't just stay in other countries.
So wait,
anyway, gents.
Wait. The DHS
Coming up.
is seriously suggesting you can't deport people